You've got the real work on the page now. You watched yourself do it. You mapped every step. You even dragged the messy parts out of your head, the exceptions, the judgment calls, the moves you make without thinking. But look at what you're actually holding. It's still one big lump labeled the work. And you can't hand a lump to an AI. So this lesson does one thing, and it's the move the whole rest of the method leans on. We cut that lump into pieces. The handful of discrete tasks an AI can actually grip. Here's the promise. By the end of these few minutes, you'll be able to take any messy job you do and break it into the 4 to 6 real tasks underneath it. Each one a thing with a clear start and a clear finish. So that for the first time, you're holding pieces you could actually hand over, instead of one fuzzy chore you can only do yourself. Start with the shift that unlocks all of it. Because almost everyone gets this exactly backwards. We describe our work by our role. I do marketing, I handle support, I run operations, and a role is a label for a person. You cannot hand a role to an AI. Say, do my marketing to it, and you've said nothing it can use. It's too big, too vague. It means 40 different jobs at once. So it hands you back generic mush every single time. Then you decide the AI is useless, when the real problem was that you asked it to be a person instead of giving it a task. So go one layer down. Underneath every role is a set of actual tasks, the specific things that person does with their hands and their eyes all day. The marketer doesn't do marketing. They write the weekly email, they cut the long video into clips, they schedule the posts, they check last week's numbers. 4 concrete tasks, and those you can hand over, the role you can't, the tasks you can. It feels like a small move. It's the hinge the entire thing turns on. Now the obvious question, how small should the pieces be? Because you can miss on both sides, and most people miss on one or the other. Too big, and you're right back to do my marketing. The AI can't grip it, so it guesses, and you're disappointed again. But too small is a real trap too. Shatter the work into 50 micro steps. Open the doc, click new, type the title, move the cursor. And now you're managing a toddler. You're spending more effort steering the AI through each tiny move than the whole task would have cost you if you'd just done it yourself. That's not leverage. That's babysitting with extra steps. So here's the grain you're aiming for. A discrete task with a clear beginning and a clear end. Something with an input going in and a recognizable output coming out. Draft the weekly email from these 3 updates. That's the grain. It's one thing. You can say exactly what goes in and exactly what comes out. You could hand it to a sharp new hire on their first day, and they'd know what done looks like. And that's your real test. The one to keep in your pocket. If you can't cleanly say what goes in and what comes out, the piece is either too big or too vague, and you cut it a different way until you can. Let me run the whole move on something real, so it stops being abstract. Take a task most people know in their bones, turning a sales call into a follow-up. As a lump, it's one fuzzy chore you keep meaning to get to. So you do the thing this lesson warns against. You type, write me a follow-up from my sales call, and back comes a generic email that could have gone to anyone, because the AI never had the actual work, just the wish. So instead, break it down. Watch how many real, separate pieces are hiding inside that one chore. First, you pull the transcript and clean it up. The recording becomes readable text. Second, you go through it and pull out what the prospect actually cared about, their real concern, the thing they leaned in on. Third, you draft the follow-up email in your voice, built around that concern. Fourth, you log the outcome in your system so nothing falls through the cracks. 4 discrete tasks. Each one has a clear input and a clear output. Each one you could describe to that new hire in a single sentence. The fuzzy chore just became 4 things you can point at. And I want you to notice something about what you just did, because this is the part nobody tells you. That breaking down, that was the work. Not the easy part before the work. The work itself. There's no button that does this for you. No prompt that hands it back. No autopilot. Somebody has to look at the real task and find the natural seams and decide where one piece ends and the next begins. That somebody is you. It's the operator's move, and it's exactly the part most people skip. Because it's slower and less fun than typing a hopeful sentence and waiting, but skip it. And you've got nothing to hand over but a lump. Do it, and you're holding leverage. Here's the quiet reason this even works now, and couldn't have a minute ago. You could only cut those clean lines because you'd already watched the work and mapped it. The decomposition isn't a fresh guess. It's reading the map you already made and drawing the lines between the natural pieces. That's why we did the boring step first. This is the payoff. The lump becomes a handful of things you can actually grip, and it's genuinely satisfying when it clicks. So here's your move on your own work today. Take one real job you do, the messier, the better, and the process you already mapped for it. Group it into the handful of real tasks underneath it. Aim for 4 to 6. That's a rule of thumb, not a law. So don't agonize over the exact number. Name each one as a thing that gets done. Draft the something, pull the something, check the something. Don't explode it into 50 tiny steps. Don't leave it as one lump, just the natural pieces, each with an input and an output you could say out loud. Because here's where we go next, and it's the most important call in the whole process. You've got your handful of tasks. In the next lesson, we decide for each one who runs it, which pieces go to the AI, and which ones stay with you. And the answer is not all of them. Getting that line right is the difference between real leverage and a quiet mess. I'll see you there.